This is Josh Olmstead. Welcome to Northwest Disc Golf's coverage of the first annual Shootin' Turkeys. This is a C-tier event out of Monro, Washington. Glad you could join us for some great disc golf action. Joining me on the coverage today, we have Corey Jones of the Prodigy Disc Street team. On the final card today, we have Chase Dempsey, Kenny Clark, Nick Shuler, and Zane Sather. As you can see, we've got a close match going into the final round. So, Corey, you all ready for some disc golf?
Oh yeah, this is going to be good.
Fantastic. So, first up here on the Tall Firs course, we have hole 1. It's a 567-foot par 4. Definitely a short, very scoreable par 4. It's got a nice tunnel gap right off the front of the tee pad. And first up, we have Chase Dempsey.
Yeah, Chase is up and comer. I'm pretty sure this is his first open event, and with a sidearm like that, man, he's going to be playing more open to come. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is a crush. That's probably about 500 feet there. He'll have an easy birdie.
Yeah.
So next up, Kenny Clark.
Kenny Clark also well known for his forehand. He's got a great forehand game. And
yeah, definitely. It's definitely a course that'll make you play both sides of that.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see here Nick's going to opt for the backhand.
And he hucks a low laser there. He's getting real close. Oh,
yeah,
just stays in bounds.
He flirts with that OB using that route there.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the cool things about this hole is, you know, you've got the trees on the right and OB on the left, and, you know, so if you want to push out that 400-foot drive, you've got a pretty narrow landing zone, probably only about 70 feet wide out there.
And you see Zane, he got that first tee jitter, first tee love. He's out there with a chance to save a shot here, so.
Definitely don't want to go OB on the first hole. Yeah, he should be able to get up and down from there. Just get out of here with the 4.
Yeah, we got Nick with the overhand attempt here. Puts him in range for a putt.
Yeah, looks like he came up a little bit short there, right by that little rock pile.
Right. Here's Kenny using his forehand, making forehands look good.
Yeah, that's a great shot. He is parked. So here we have Zane. This is his third. So it looks like he's not going to run. It's just going to lay up and take his 4.
Yeah, smart play, though. I mean, that's what's getting him up into the lead card is playing consistent golf. And you see Chase so close on his drive, he could just easy pitch up for that birdie.
Definitely. Yeah, Zane had a huge round to get onto this final card. I know this is definitely his first open tournament.
Nick just giving that one a real good bid there. Boom. Saves it, cleans it up.
Great birdie there for Kenny. Good way to start a final round.
Yeah, Chase
definitely
following suit there. It's one that you want to get for sure, being on the lead card. It's an attackable one. You really do want to get that stroke when you can. So.
Definitely, yeah. No, this course has some very technical par 3s, but a lot of very approachable par 4s. Definitely a good course for the big arm players here. So moving on to hole 2, this is one of those technical par 3s I was mentioning. Very short hole, just 215 feet. A lot of trees in the way. It's definitely an opportunity birdie, but not one that's any guarantee, even at its short distance.
Yeah, absolutely. The trees and the fact that the basket's a little elevated make it something you have to navigate with a little bit of caution.
Definitely. You can see there's a little rough behind the hole. This is definitely a part of the course. You can see these small trees. These are all going to grow and make this hole a lot harder on the backside there.
Yeah, they can only get bigger.
Yeah, but it's definitely nice. This course gets a good use out of these big tree areas here.
Absolutely. The old growth trees are real beautiful, and they use them very well. Oh, wow. Zane with a great drive.
Yeah, great shot. Can't do much better than that without it going in the hole.
Got Nick. Ooh, good run.
Yeah, definitely. Good attempt. Want to go for it early.
And you can see, ooh, yeah, where Kenny's at. Those trees, I mean, they're tall enough now that they're already causing a bit of a problem. Yet
Definitely.
Chase following suit there. So I mean, in the coming years, those are gonna make it even harder. So it'll be cool to see the challenges that those add over the years.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the first course in Washington designed by legendary course designer John Hawk. And so as part of the course efforts, they planted about 150 new trees. So as this course ages, it's just going to get harder and make these holes a lot tighter.
Yep, it's got a lot of potential.
So heading into hole 3, Chase holding a 1-stroke lead over Kenny, with Nick and Zane just a little bit behind that.
Yeah, Zane taking the birdie to tie up Nick there.
Yeah, definitely doing a good job keeping, making sure he doesn't fall off the pace early. So hole 3, we've got a 599-foot par 4. According to the TD I spoke with before the round, this is one of the signature holes. This is a really great drive to challenge these pros. You've got a long tunnel. You have to shoot over a little bit of a hill, and then it's about a 250-foot long tree tunnel.
Yeah, it's a challenging hole for sure. If you have a good flex forehand, that can play. I see most players throwing a backhand. However, if you are Kenny Clark, you can go with something like this and lay down a pretty nice forehand baller. Got robbed by a branch there, I mean, but that is just absolute great shot right there.
Yeah, that looked like it had enough power to get all the way through, and definitely gave it a good run. And speaking of good runs, that is a huge bomb from Nick.
Shuler, just textbook showing you how that hole should be played.
Yeah, once you get out, it's a pretty wide open approach, just one tree in the way. It's about 250 feet from the end there.
There's Chase just showing another big sidearm.
Great shot. Zane's got to navigate a little bit more of this forest, but does a good job getting out. That's definitely a good escape play from there.
Absolutely. You have a lot of opportunities once you make it out of that tree line, so he's going to be happy with that.
Definitely. You can see here, shooting for the green, but it looks like it gets caught up in those 3 guardian trees there.
They do their job well. They really do make this hole that much harder coming out. I mean, once you're open, they really are. That's the only thing you have to contend with. But you can see here, even with Nick, I mean, they come into play more often than not.
Yeah, I find that, you know, when you just have that one tree in front of the basket, sometimes it just feels like that tree's a magnet. You're thinking about it, and you can see Zane did the same thing, you know, hitting the one main obstacle in your way.
Kenny lining up a nice putt.
And a huge, great shot.
Man, I think we're going to have to see that one again.
Yeah, nothing but chains there. You can't really get more textbook than that on a putt like that.
Yeah, Kenny Clark is comfortable with those putters, to say the least, and you can see Zane there with a huge putt himself to save that par. That was a much-needed putt.
Yeah, Zane definitely doing a good job scrapping to stay up with the leaders here.
Chase getting it as well, man. You can hear Kenny in the background, just especially from where these guys are at. That 3 is not a gimme 3.
Ooh, Nick looked like he was getting just a little bit too casual on that putt, but good thing he makes it. So after 3 holes, Chase still holding on to his 1-stroke lead as he and Kenny put a little bit more distance between themselves and Nick and Zane. So as we move on to hole 4, we have a 227-foot par 3. This is a pretty wide open par 3. Hole's definitely going to get a lot more interesting as these trees mature. Right now the only major obstacle is OB long, about 35 feet past the pin. Otherwise this is definitely a hole these guys really need to get.
Yeah, this is one you should definitely be getting, especially, you know, lead card, being in the open division, and even not. I mean, 227 feet. It's a pretty attackable shot. There's not too much in your way off the tee pad. Little bit you're kind of looking at. It is a little bit of downhill, but with the area that you have, you're able to play big hyzer spikes like a lot of these guys are, and it makes it a fairly safe shot. So Zane doing a great job there.
Shot.
Yeah.
Nick looks like he's just getting a little floaty with that putter, but he should still be able to make this.
Oh yeah. Nick and Kenny both, they're primarily kind of like a spin putt, but they both just have it so dialed in.
Yeah, as you can see, great shot there. Easy putts for these guys.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Kenny Clark is putting with the first putters he ever played with. I'm pretty sure those are the ones he's had in his bag for pretty much his entire disc golf career. So,
wow, that's impressive. I've probably gone through about 10 different molds just trying to find something that actually works.
Yeah, most people aren't lucky enough to find something like that and just have it connect. But you can see he does well, and everybody did well on that hole, getting the star card there.
Yep, no mistakes from these guys. Definitely good work on hole 4. So hole 5, we're back to the long par 4. This is 565 feet. This is a long hyzer shot and another scoreable par 4. However, there's OB on both sides of this hole, and this course features a lot of OB. These holes are pretty tight together, and so I know a lot of the OB is sort of added OB just for the tournament, just to make things a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, because in a lot of casual play, some of the areas that they have as designated OBs are just kind of shared rough areas. So making it designated OB definitely added some challenge to these holes.
Yep, definitely, with some of these wide open drives, really makes you question whether you want to go for the 400-foot bomb and risk the line. As Zane just squeaks in there on the left, he's right next to the line.
Looks like a great drive from Nick there, just a nice big sweeping hyzer. I mean, he chewed off a big portion of that par 4. He's looking at a easy birdie from there, so he should be plenty happy with that.
Definitely. You can see there's some OB right behind the pin. Definitely really rewards players who get up close, so you're not having to throw a 300-foot upshot with the OB right behind.
Yeah, I mean, it challenges you just to know that you can put your disc in that landing zone, because it does have a bit of a hill slope. And so you can see there, Nick went a little aggressive, and it can cost you if you don't have that placement shot at that distance.
Yeah, that was a rough break after an excellent drive to put him in the middle of the fairway.
Whereas Chase there, he just parks it, So, I mean, it's kind of that risk-reward scenario where even the closest drive may not card the birdie with an OB design like that. So it's a good use of the course.
Definitely. So Nick cleared out his par with the penalty stroke, as looks like the rest of the card is cleaning up birdies here. Some good work from these guys on this hole.
Yeah, a little bit of gallery action behind him there.
Yeah, this is actually one of the first, I believe it might be the first PDGA tournament at this course.
Yeah, I know that they're it's a fairly new course in the scope of things as far as how long it's been in the ground, and they've been doing a lot coming up fast, so it's going to be cool to see more events happening here in the future once things kind of get hammered in and they see how things run. And I mean, this event seems like it ran well. I believe they had something like 94 players, and from what I heard, everybody had a great time. So
yeah, that's huge for a one-day C-tier event. So you can see right behind the tee there's the clubhouse. This is a full-time, pay-to-play course, so they really do a good job, using that to keep up the course, keep a good clubhouse going. So hole 6, we have a 598-foot par 4. This is definitely a little bit more of the medium range par 4, with the trees in the way, out in the middle of the fairway, so you can lay up in front of those trees, or you can try to get all the way around. But again, you've got OB on both sides, keeping these players honest.
Yeah, the shape of this hole, it can reward a good backhand or a good sidearm, which is nice. It really gives players an option, but it's another one of those holes where you got to choose how far you want to go and where that placement's going to be, because the placement in a lot of these holes makes more difference than the distance will. So if you play it smart, you're gonna excel at this course.
Definitely. So there's actually about OB only about 5 feet off the left of the basket, and it wraps back around the pin. So you don't want to get too aggressive, but at the same time, it's a wide open pin you want to run.
Yeah, and that's one of those things about this course that I really do like, is that they will challenge the way you play it. It'll challenge your mental game so much more than even just your physical game, because again, you have to choose distance over layup, things of that nature. And Zane giving it a good run there.
Yeah, just clipping the bottom of the basket.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a rough break for Chase there.
Yeah.
He got dribbled out weak side.
Just a little high on that putt. See Nick tapping in his birdie there after a nice overhand out of the trees.
Yeah, good way to recover from his OB on the last hole.
Absolutely. These guys just cleaning up their putts here.
Yeah, they definitely can make a little bit longer bag putts than I can. I have to focus a little bit more on my 8-footers.
It's a luxury. You get out there and play enough, and comfort's something you want to have with you. So these guys are doing great so far.
So Kenny did a nice job of getting up, tying Chase for the lead, and they've built up a little cushion, 4-stroke lead over Nick and Zane, moving into hole 7. This is a 266-foot par 3. This is a technical hyzer shot with a decent amount of OB. You start off through a small tree gap, though you can play around it. There's OB all around the pin. A pretty uneven green. I definitely like how they put all of these pins. A lot of them are on slopes, definitely making players think a little bit about how they approach the hole.
Absolutely. And then they have what you would call a bunker, so to speak, with the trees in it. It doesn't play like bunker rules, I don't believe. Unfortunately, you see Nick going OB there, but there is kind of another one of those semi-new tree placements that creates a problem if you land in it. But you can see most of these guys, short of Nick going OB, they've been clearing it here. So
yeah, and actually, speaking of bunkers, part of why this course has these kind of nice open undulating areas is because it was originally a golf course that was kind of abandoned for a number of years before it was purchased by the current owners, who decided to make it a dedicated disc golf property.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, tough break again for Chase there. But if I'm not mistaken, the property was one of the first original ball golf courses in the state of Washington. So the property itself has a pretty cool history. Nice.
Nice. So
Kenny there for birdie.
One of the first ball golf courses, and one of the first sort of fully dedicated disc golf courses. Washington has a ton of great courses, but it's interesting to see people trying to push it to the next level. And you can see here there's a little dispute over a potential foot fault there, but don't think it ended up becoming a penalty stroke, as Zane and Kenny get some nice deuces there, and Nick unfortunately drops a stroke.
Yeah, we got Kenny taking a -1-stroke
-9
lead there over the cards, so he's gonna want to try to hold that momentum going through.
Absolutely. So hole 8, 244-foot dogleg right par 3. This is another fun, short technical hole. Right now the trees in front of the pin really just pose a challenge when putting, but that's going to end up growing into a whole wall of trees there. These guys are going to have to navigate as this course matures.
This hole, as opposed to the hole previous, I kind of feel like they're almost a mirror image of themselves. I mean, they're both mid 200 feet. The last one going on a left hand, this one finishing on a right hand. They both have these kind of bunkers with trees in play. So it's a pretty similar experience what they just had, but you're changing the angle. So it kind of forces you to play a little bit of both shots.
Oh, that might be... Oh!
Ooh, you can see he just gets caught up in there. He'll still have a chance to make that putt. So you can see Chase lining up a circle's edge putt, maybe a little closer, and
shaking off
drains it.
And getting that confidence back. He's ready to get back into his game there. So good putt from Nick as well. Nice birdie.
Yep, good job shaking off the last hole, just making a textbook 2. As Zane also chains in a 2, so looks like we might have a star frame here.
Unforeseen circumstances, I think that's going to be an easy star card for these guys there.
Absolutely. Good work. So nothing really changes. Kenny sticks with his 1-stroke lead over Chase. Zane and Nick just a few strokes back as we move back to another big par 4. So hole 9, we have a 511-foot par 4. This is the shortest par 4 on the course out of the 7 par 4s here. Definitely not a short course. But there's OB on the right side of this tree wall. It's actually a road. And then there's a marked OB line on the left. Though the landing area for this hole is a little bit more generous than some of the other par 4s.
In my opinion, most anybody at this level should have a fairly easy chance to attack a 3 at. I mean, you have a lot of room left. You have not so much room right off the tee pad as you are kind of tucked along that tree line OB like you mentioned. But as you said, the fairway itself is pretty wide open, so much so that even an easy placement shot allows a decent placement shot and a chance at a 3. So again, you see Chase just pumping one up there and deciding that he wants to get as much out of there as he can. So
yeah, you can tell he put his whole body into that throw. He's got a monster forehand, definitely gets all of it. As Nick takes a real low backhand,
that was a crush.
It's a great skip there, leaving himself in a... Yeah, it makes me kind of wonder if, you know, people are going to sort of try to go for eagle on this hole if you can, you know, really
it's
get
doable.
that perfect drive.
A lot of these guys have that distance. I mean, you saw Chase throw, if not all of dang near 500 feet just on the first hole with that sidearm, and this hole plays that you can use that sidearm, and even, like I said, even a natural placement shot for a lot of these guys off the tee pad is going to give you a chance, and you see there, he's just giving it an honest run for an eagle there. So a lot of these guys have that choice here because they're playing pretty well. So, ooh, just
absolutely.
Off the nose.
You can see Zane here. Oof. He's a little frustrated to miss that birdie putt, as he knows there's only so many more holes
Great
left in this final round to make a run.
Loads up and smashes it in there. That's confidence in a putt right there.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job keeping his lead, but he and Chaser kind of looks like they're in a shootout. Neither one of them wants to give any ground.
Full force. It's fun to see, especially on a course like this where players can excel in that kind of format. So it's really fun to watch.
So we had 3 birdies on that hole. Zane taking the only par. Kenny's putting together a hot round. He's 8 under after 9 holes.
He's playing on fire right now. Chase
golf.
Not too far behind him with that 6 for the round. I mean, they're doing well.
So we move on to hole 10. So the last hole of the first half. This is actually a 20-hole course for the tournament. Normally it's 18, but there's 2 extras. This is a 255-foot par 3. Definitely a tricky dogleg right through a lot of trees. There's an inside gap and an outside gap, so there's 2 different distinct lines here on this hole. If you cut the corner too tight, there's a lot of branches to chop you down.
Even though it's primarily based around a forehand line, as you can see so far, 3 out of the 4 players taking the forehand, it kind of still will challenge you. Do you want the inside route? Do you want the outside route? Like, you still have to choose your placement off almost every tee pad here. So it more so, again, it'll challenge that mental aspect of giving you some options that you may not think of on another line.
Definitely. So it doesn't look like any of these guys get that perfect clean shot. It's definitely a tough green to run, as it's a really steep downhill slope. Got to really work to get your disc to stop.
Absolutely,
really makes
it's
players
one that
think twice
if you're
before
not
running this.
Really close, like I mean, Nick has a real good chance here. Oh, and you could see that as you're speaking about the greens there, he got a bit of a roll away, and it's one that you really have to think about your placement, because even being the circle's edge facing down that hill can turn into a roll away OB. Ooh, Nick sneaks one in there, top chain. But yeah, it's just another hole that, again, it challenges you to think about your placements, where your disc's going to land. So they did well with what they're doing out here, I think.
Definitely, and you can see these guys all wrapping up pars here. Pretty simple job as long as you just get your disc out at the start. So at the end of hole 10, we've got Kenny with a 1-stroke lead over Chase. Zane and Nick are 5 and 6 strokes back of the lead. So thanks a bunch for watching part 1, and we'll continue our coverage in part 2.